Okay. Be right back. So he looked good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
I was thinking,
I was told it was weird. This one here. Oh yeah. Again, yeah. If it's cool, if I put my microphone just like by the speaker.
could we put it like I don't really mess with this side. I adjust volume on this side.
Yeah, yeah. That should be able to.
What do you need to put this there or?
Yeah, just like rest it on there. It's
For the duration of the meeting?
yeah.
Okay.
That's okay. And that will be like the audio from the.
Oh yeah. Anyone talks,
like
it's coming
any
through here.
microphone.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we can just kind of move that around. Yes. Good.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Are you? There actually might be. There's a seat right over there.
No, I'll let like a president take my mic and stand over there. It's better to get pictures. Okay.
Yes. I don't believe so. On the phone. You can try, but still in.
So yeah, that you can. I mean, I won't be using this up here. You can. I mean, you know,
Well,
this isn't
the
it, but I'm
assumption
assuming.
was that those people would be coming in. What's it?
I'm saying it's output. These are outputs.
I'm in the main, I'm in the main
Can I
room.
plug into there?
But come in and
I've
try.
never tried to see if that messes with anything. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's coming out through the speaker here with these cords.
You know, I'll just do this just to be safe.
I don't know if that
will-
would override one. You know,
Yeah,
that's,
I'll just-
okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'll have to. You know,
I can go.
let's go right on top of this.
Can I do this down here?
We'll just point it.
Just throw the KYW one away.
Why don't we just bring it? Let it sit right here. Like, yeah, set it right
Yeah, really.
If you need to move it, that's whatever.
there. Shouldn't have to.
Hey, Tim. We have channels 3, 6, and 10 with the cameras in there. Not in this room, but in the meeting room.
Yeah, that.
That was a fun tour. Yeah, I was gonna say, I got all dressed.
Good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order. You can stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the nation of America, to the republic one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being recorded and live streamed through the Limerick Township YouTube page. www.youtube.com/Limerick Township 1726. We did meet prior to on legal matters. And I just want to say good evening to everyone. I would like to begin by acknowledging that there are strong feelings surrounding this application, and I ask that everyone in the room remember that we are neighbors and members of the same community. Our responsibility this evening is to conduct a fair and orderly hearing under the law and to build a complete and accurate record. Tonight's hearing will begin with the remaining party status matters before we proceed into testimony. As chair, I ask that all participants conduct themselves respectfully so that everyone who has a lawful role in these proceedings has the opportunity to be heard. I also want to remind everyone that these proceedings are governed by statutory timelines under the Pennsylvania Municipal Planning Code. Those timelines exist for a reason, and all parties should understand that unnecessary disruptions or delay can have procedural consequences under the law that are outside of our discretion. Our responsibility is to conduct a fair, orderly, and lawful hearing, to create a complete record, and to allow testimony to proceed efficiently. For that reason, interruptions, outbursts, and other conduct that delay the proceedings will not be permitted. Individuals who disrupt the hearing may be warned and, if necessary, removed so the hearing can continue. And at this time, all conditional use hearings are handled by our solicitor, and I will be turning it over to Rebecca Geiser.
Thank you. As you heard, this hearing was opened in April 14th of 2026. The hearing was continued to this evening, and the hearing was re-advertised in the Mercury on April 27th and May 4th of 2026 because of the location change. So I do have an additional Township Exhibit 12, and that is proof that this evening's hearing was advertised twice as required by the MPC. And some housekeeping matters. As the chair stated, we do have additional party status matters to address. Miss Martha Bell, who is represented by Lauren Otero, who's here tonight. Miss Otero entered her appearance, and Miss Bell advised prior to the hearing that she would not be present at the first meeting. And her attorney also advised me prior to the last hearing that Miss Bell wasn't available. So we'll hear from Miss Bell and Miss Otero. And then we also have Evergreen Development Group, LLC. We heard from an individual on behalf of them, Mr. Jones. And Mr. Jones advised that the LLC was in the process of obtaining an attorney. He did reach out, and I believe the Goodhart firm, PC, attorney Michael or Daniel Bailson. Okay, Mr. Bailson's present, and I believe he has been retained. So after we hear from Ms. Otero and Ms. Bell with regard to party status, we can hear from Mr. Balin. I would suggest the board hear those matters preliminarily before we begin with the next stage. Thank you. Ms. Otero, the floor is yours.
Housekeeping matters. Parties are
So good evening, everyone. Just picking up from last time, here on behalf of Ms. Martha Bell, and just establishing that she has party status right according to 908 of the MPC, in which, as I remind the board, anyone affected has a right to party status. These are very strong words within the statute, and I ask please just keep that in mind as I go through. Ms. Bell, she lives at 32 Llewellyn Lane in Limerick. 23, excuse me. 23 Llewellyn Lane in Limerick. And this is about like 3.6 miles from the site as the crow flies. Ms. Bell, she has particular interests is impacted by this proposed site. We start with her health conditions. She has asthma in a severe form where she cannot just be on routine maintenance asthma medication. She relies on rescue meds. So days where there are high, like bad air quality, this is where there's maybe high particulate matter in the air. Particulate matter, I'll remind the board, that is a byproduct of things such as the generators that will run, even just your car engines, when it burns fuel, produces particulate matter. This causes her asthma to flare up, and then she may have to go to urgent care. She's also a cancer survivor, and she really is concerned about how the emissions and the pollution that will come off this proposed site will affect not only her asthma, but also her cancer, her health in general. She is downwind from the Limerick Power Station. She can see it from her house, and so she also has a flag on her property where she can see the wind coming down. So she knows whatever comes out of this proposed site will hit her house. The air will come down her way. Another topic is water. Now she is on public water, but the area where she lives has a history of contamination, and she is very concerned of how this will impact her health. She is also an owner of several dogs, and she did have a dog pass away from cancer suddenly, and she is worried that this was a result of the water on her property that the dogs were consuming. So she's very concerned that any more contamination to the site will impact her health and also her dogs. I just want to note, Ms. Bell, she was granted party status in a separate hearing back in 2000, where there was Florida Power had proposed a natural gas power plant right where this proposed site is. And Ms. Bell was granted status. The board at the time agreed that she was affected enough that she had a right to be party. So I really just ask that since she is represented, she would be part of this group where I would represent and advocate on her behalf. She has these individualized interests and concerns that she be granted status. Thank you.
Mr. Campbell, any questions?
Sir, is the witness going to be sworn in?
Yeah. Ms. Bell, thank you.
Martha Bell, Marthabell. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. You live 3.5 or more miles away from the site?
Yes.
Okay. And your attorney described the fact that you have significant problems with asthma and things like car emissions affect you. Is that correct?
It's more yes, indirectly. I mean, yes, that's one of the things that contributes to particulate matter in the air. When I track the AccuWeather reports, it'll tell me whether or not what could be affecting me that day. And particulate matter is one of those things they track on AccuWeather.
Right. But the point is the particulate matter that results just from basic traffic. Vehicular traffic is something that has a profound impact on you, correct?
I can't predict what I'm going to react to, but I can tell you that yes, diesel affects me. Yes.
Right. I object to party status at 3.6 miles away. She's too far away to have a direct impact. I think the particularized harm that was identified is not inconsistent with what the general public would feel. She needs, she's analogized this project with vehicular traffic. I think that's a general concern within the public. I don't think she's established a basis for standing. At 3.6 miles, I think the board can the board denied status of others closer than that.
Thank you. Any questions of the board? Otherwise, I would suggest a roll call vote like you consistently held for the other.
I don't have a question. Any board members have a question? Do I have a motion to approve Miss Martha Bell for party status?
Motion approved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have no motion.
Thank you. Mr. Bailson, we could address your matter.
Good evening. Sorry. My name is Daniel Bailson. Last name is spelled B as in boy, A-Y-L-S-O-N, the Good Heart firm. And I represent Evergreen Development Group, LLC. Their property is 350 Evergreen Road. They're adjacent to the property and they've received notice and they're asking for them to be identified as a non-participant and for purposes of being added to the distribution list for future information and distributions.
We did not object to any property owners to meeting adjacent to the site. So to be consistent with that position, we don't object.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve Mr. Bealston for the property owners of 350 Evergreen Road?
I make the motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And we will start our roll call vote. Ms. Schuler? Aye. Ms. Irwin?
Aye.
Dr. Walraven?
Aye.
Mr. Maroney?
Yes.
And I'm an aye as well.
Thank you. That concludes the party status matter we had tonight, continued from the last evening. I have some more housekeeping to take care of before we go into testimony. Like I've said in the past, a conditional use hearing is very similar in many ways to a court hearing. Witnesses are sworn, a stenographer is here to take testimony, witnesses are examined and then cross-examined. The MPC has scheduling requirements, as the chair said. If hearings are not timely scheduled and heard, the township, there are risks involved with not having a timely hearing. So please treat this room as you would treat a courtroom. The stenographer must be able to transcribe what is said. It is the official record for the case. At the first hearing, many of you referenced the right to appeal. Please understand that any appeal is based on the transcript that is currently being taken. It's important that she can hear so she can accurately transcribe. As with the last hearing, if she cannot hear testimony, if there are interruptions, we will have to stop the hearing. Tonight is expected the applicant will call their first witness, which means Mr. Campbell will be asking questions and perhaps asking that a witness be recognized as an expert. The way that this will flow is Mr. Campbell will ask questions and then there will be cross-examination. Ms. McKenna, who's representing the township, will cross-examine the witness. And then we will call cross-examination from the parties, starting with their attorneys. We will go in the same order for each witness. As with the sheer number of people we have involved in this, we really need to keep some semblance of order. When it's your turn as a party to question, you will need to question the witness. If there's an objection to a question, please wait until the Board of Supervisors or I rules on the objection. After all of the party status people have asked questions, then the Board of Supervisors will have their opportunity to question. And then Mr. Campbell may redirect. Once we get to a reasonable stopping point to pause the hearing, the Board of Supervisors will continue to the next date. We're looking at June 16th as the next conditional use hearing date because, as I said, this is not a quick process. The township will be making available to all parties involved exhibits that are entered by the township. We have most of your email addresses. However, we learned that we're missing two. So Mr. Bird and Miss Lynn, if you're present, please, before you leave, provide your email address to the township. It is the most efficient way for me as solicitor or the township to get a hold of any of you, to communicate with regard to evidence, with timing, procedural matters, because again, with conditional use hearing, I cannot talk to the other parties without all of the parties being involved. That is why email is so important. I need to be able to communicate with all of you at the same time. So again, please provide that. And finally, public comment is permitted after all the parties have presented. This is the law in Pennsylvania and under the MPC. This is not your typical Board of Supervisors meeting. It is not a school board meeting. It's a legal proceeding. Again, besides being the law in Pennsylvania, practically speaking, this makes sense. You haven't heard yet from all of the witnesses, and you won't until the very end. So it's likely that a question raised without hearing from the witnesses may be answered when you hear from the witness, whether on direct or cross-examination. So we ask that you be considerate of anybody who's speaking. And with that, unless the board has anything, I would ask Mr. Campbell to proceed, or if there are any of the other attorneys that have a housekeeping matter that I have not addressed. I'm not seeing anyone. Mr. Campbell, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So as an initial matter of housekeeping, may I ask that when the township compiles comprehensive email list of all of those with party status that be shared with us, there are times I think when it will be more efficient for me to provide all those with party status with documents or exhibits in it.
Yes, because again, as we said, Mr. Campbell is not to be communicating one at a time. It's all or nothing that he's communicating. So yes, that will be provided.
Thank you. And I would share with the board that my understanding is that we have a hard stop at 9:30.
We do.
Understood. And in anticipation of that, we plan on calling one witness tonight. It took us 3 hours to get through party status last time. If tonight winds up being efficient and in the future, we'll stack more witnesses up, but I didn't think it would make sense to bring multiple witnesses in. Let's find out how efficient the process goes, so that I'm mindful and not trespassing on your time or the time of
And just to be clear for everybody, we now have 27 entities or individuals that have party status.
Thank you. So our first witness is to my right, A.G. Magana. Mr. Magana, would you raise your right hand? And I'd ask that he be sworn in.
Albert J. Magana. Yes.
Mr. Magana, who do you work for?
Labella Associates.
And Labella Associates is what?
It's a professional engineering.
And did you go to school?
Yes.
Where'd you go to college? Tell me about your graduate degree.
Went to Penn State University, Bachelor of Science in Geoscience, and I got a Master's in Engineering from the University of Missouri.
And what's your relation to this project?
I'm the project manager.
Okay. And I've handed out to the attorneys who represent individuals a copy of your CV. I can hand one up to Rebecca, and I'll make one available to anybody else at the conclusion of the hearing.
Thank you. And Mr. Campbell, just to be clear for the other party status people, will you make your exhibits available to them at the end of tonight?
I will.
Thank you.
Handing up what I'll mark, I'll ask you to mark C1 for a copy. And I've got 30 copies. We have some copies. Did you coordinate and supervise the plans that are part of this application?
Yes.
When the application came in, there were a number of other exhibits. Did you coordinate compiling all of those exhibits?
Yes.
All right. Who's got control of the? Thanks. Lynn, can you put up page 6 of our plan set?
That's one of the side and go to a specific page, or do you want it from the main plans?
I believe I emailed over a set of 3 plans to be used tonight. It's page 6 of 14. 6 of 14. Overall proposed site layout. And again, I have hard copies of this that I'm happy to distribute at the end of tonight. Thank you. So up on the screen is one of the plan sheets from what was submitted, and it's marked as page 6 of 14, and it's entitled Overall Proposed Site Layout. Are you familiar with that plan?
Yes.
And in fact, you essentially we're part of the team that put that together, correct?
Yes.
I want to take a few minutes and walk through the plan so we have an overview of what the plan actually is.
Are we having the witness speaking as an expert?
At this time, he's not. He's the project manager. He's going to walk through the site.
Thank you. And sorry, again, just to clarify, sheet 6 of 14, it will be your exhibit C2, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So on the screen is 6 of 14. I would ask that it be marked as C2. Do you have a pointer with you? Yeah, thank you. All right. There are 8 buildings that are in orange. Can you identify them on the plan?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
8. All right. And 5 of those buildings are of a particular size and 3 are of a different size?
Yes.
All right. So the 5 buildings that are smaller, how many square feet are they?
There are 154,600 square feet in footprint and 309,200 square feet gross.
Essentially 2 stories. So whatever the footprint is double, right?
Yes.
And the 3 larger buildings,
2.
What's their area and what's their total floor area?
There are 202,304 square feet footprint and 404,608 square feet gross.
So those orange buildings themselves, what are they? What do we call them?
So the orange rectangles are the data center buildings themselves. That's the data halls. You can see the pink here is the office space, and the gray areas in the back are the utility areas.
Okay, so let's talk about the utility areas. That's where the generator ports are going to be, correct?
Correct.
And the 5 smaller buildings will each have 36 diesel generators?
Yes.
And the 3 larger buildings will have each 42 diesel generators, correct?
Yes.
And can you indicate again where each of those generator ports are in relation to each of the 8 buildings?
So yes, they're the gray area behind the orange here.
And they've been located so that, for the most part, they are essentially behind the buildings, correct?
Yes.
Okay. On top of each building, there will be chillers, correct?
Yes.
Fair to say that for the 5 smaller buildings that there are proposed to be 42 chillers?
Yes.
And for the 3 larger buildings, there are 64 chillers proposed?
Yes.
There's also an administrative and a logistic building. Can you point out where they are?
Yes. Logistics building is here. The administrative building is right there.
Okay, so can you orient us? So the logistics building is to the right, to the north?
Yes.
And it's between building 8 and Zara Road?
Yes.
And the administrative building is between building 4 and Saratoga Road?
Yes.
Where's the main entrance going to be?
Main entrance will be off of Light Cap Road at the existing signalized intersection.
So it's designed to line up with that existing signal?
Yes.
And as that entrance proceeds into the site and it appears to bend to the right, what's that area there in Greg?
So there'll be a security check right here in the guardhouse. It's been 24 hours, 365 days a year. Main access will be into the site, but if somebody comes that's not allowed, there's this big area here is a like truck rejection loop.
So people can pull in, and if they need to be turned around and redirected out, they can be turned around there without coming into the campus, correct?
Correct.
The entire campus will be fenced?
Yes.
Where is there another primary entrance or other main entrance for building 8?
Right. Yes. Right off of Possum Hall.
That's at the intersection of either Possum, I called it Zara before, it was incorrect. Possum Hollow and Lightcap?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the same arrangement, the security guardhouse and truck protection. security guardhouse and truck rejection loop.
And that entrance, though, provides access only to one of the 8 buildings, correct?
Correct.
One of the 8 data center buildings, correct?
Yes.
Are there emergency exits identified on the plan?
Yes.
Where are they?
It's an emergency exit out to Evergreen, and emergency exit out to San Antonio.
How far is this campus between the intersection of Lightcap and Evergreen roads? Let me ask that separately. Is it within 3/4 of a mile, the intersection of Lightcap and Evergreen Road?
It is.
And that's one of the criteria to qualify the site under the township's data center, correct?
Correct.
There's a Pico switchyard proposed. Can you identify where that is on the plan?
Yes. The Pico's switchyard will be here, their switchyard and their substation.
So 2 different but related facilities, correct?
Correct. You have the main service, the 500 kV line coming from the power plant, which will come into the switching station and then go through their sub. And then we will have a 230 overhead line going to the customer substation.
Just talking about the Pico-owned facility at the moment, it's east of Possum Hollow Run?
Yes.
It's essentially between where Possum Hollow Road will be relocated and Possum Hollow Run, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's also going to be a utility facility that's labeled on the plan as customer substation. Can you show where that is? You're indicating, and that's between building 7 and building 8, correct?
Correct.
Each building will be served with its own trash facility or trash receptacle?
Yes. Right on off the corner of the office where the main access point is. Or loading dock area.
On C2, on page 6 of 14, can you indicate where Possum Hollow Road currently exists?
Yes. Possum Hollow Road comes off here. I guess off of San Antonio Road, wraps around along Possum Hollow Run, and then ties in at the Zara Road and then up to Red Cap.
Right. And as part of this application and as part of prior applications for property related to this, there was a concept to relocate Possum Hollow Road, correct?
Correct.
And I believe about a year ago, we actually submitted a plan to relocate it, although we told that. Can you show where Possum Hollow will be relocated to?
Yes, so Possum Hollow will be right here, will be cut off, and then it'll be rerouted. This is Sanatoga up to here, and then we'll continue on, and then this section of Possum Hollow will be abandoned, and the reroute will come down Longview and over to Zara.
A portion of the relocated Possum Hollow Road will actually be on property immediately adjacent to Zara Road, correct?
Correct.
And there's a comment in one of the township's review letters relating to parcel number 3700-03478-022, indicating that that is not in the LI zoning district, correct?
Correct.
And the only purpose of including that parcel is to accommodate the realignment of Possum Hollow Road, correct?
Correct.
And I will represent to the board that we will accept as a condition, and we would stipulate that there is no data center use that would be on that particular parcel. It's not in the LI zoning district. It's included because when Possum Hollow Road is relocated, a small portion of that property has to be used for the road right. Are there pipelines on the property?
Yes.
Can you show me where the pipelines are on C2?
Yes, so there's an existing gas transmission line that bisects the property from the northwesterly corner all the way through to the southwesterly corner of the property. There's another gas main that bisects the eastern portion of the property from Lightcap down through Zara.
Okay, so the second pipeline that you just indicated, which basically runs from Light Cap and roughly parallel to Zara, is that being modified at all?
No,
It's staying in place without any change?
correct.
There will be some essentially parking improvements placed on top of it, correct?
Correct.
And they will be consistent with the pipeline easement and the pipeline easement protocol, correct?
Correct.
Let's talk about the first pipeline that you talked about, which enters the property from the south and runs through the southern portion of it. How will that pipeline be relocated?
So the pipeline is going to be picked up right about where the detention basin is on the adjacent property. It's going to run along the north and west side around building 1, and then it's going to wrap around the property and tie back into its existing position here.
Essentially, the pipeline will be relocated so that it is located under new internal drives, correct?
Correct.
And that also will follow the protocol for pipeline to be relocated pursuant to an easement that exists on the property, correct?
Correct.
Is there an existing sewer line that runs through the property?
Yes. There's a existing main 15-inch line that follows Possum Hollow Run. And then there's another line coming from the shops down through this tributary for Possum Hollow Run and then tying in.
So there's an existing sanitary sewer line that runs basically under the left or the southern tributary of Possum Hollow Run?
Yes.
It runs from Light Cap and basically runs through the floodway or the flood plain until it reaches Possum Hollow Road?
Sorry, I need to correct myself. It's the one on the right.
Sorry.
It's the tributary.
Okay, so it's the northern tributary.
Correct.
It basically runs within the floodplain or floodway area, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that exists?
Yes, the existing line here. There's another tying connection that follows this line and ties into the 15-inch main.
And so how is the sewer line going to be relocated?
So the existing services are going to be rerouted around the campus. So the existing gravity line that comes from the shops, we're going to put a pump station here to intercept that sewer.
And you're showing, when you say here, the pump station will be on Light Cap Road, essentially between building 8 at the northern, close to the northern entrance of the outlet walls, correct?
Correct. Okay. And then there's an existing service connection that follows this portion of the tributary from the north. That is going to be diverted to that pump station as well. And then there'll be a force main that wraps around the northern portion of the property and is going to tie into the existing sanitary line along Possum Hollow Run. And then the 15-inch main along Possum Hollow Run will be any portions that are on the north side will be shifted to the south side.
That realignment of that sewer line, is that intended to carry any new sewer, or is it just going to manage the existing flow?
The rerouted sewer line will all be existing flow coming from areas north of the property.
And who bears the cost of making the improvement for the pump station and the new sewer?
The developer.
Are there elements of the site that are subject to the township's floodplain regulations?
Yes.
So we just touched on one, right? There's an existing sewer line that runs through the, I'm going to call it the northern tributary, right?
Correct.
And the blue area on the plan to the left of that, I'm going to refer to that as the southern tributary. So if I refer to the southern tributary, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. What's shown on the plan right here, what impacts are there, or what's shown crossing over those floodplains?
There will be 2 roadway crossings and utility crossings on each of the, or 1 crossing for each of the tributaries.
So there's an internal road that runs over each of the tributaries?
Yes,
And when you say there's a utility line, or what other type of facility will cross through those tributaries?
an electrical duct bank.
An electrical duct bank. In layman's terms, what's an electrical duct bank?
The concrete line that you run power lines through in an underground condition.
And that concrete ductwork will be underneath the floodplain and the watercourse?
Yes,
So when that's completed, will there be any change to the surface of the floodplain or the floodway where it's running up?
no, the floodway cross section will be reestablished to the pre-development condition.
So there's a section in the township's ordinance 18481E which prohibits anything from going in those in a watercourse or wetlands except for required roads. And it's our position that these two internal roads are just that, required roads, correct?
Yes,
We've also developed an alternate, which we'll get to in a minute. We have an alternate design which does not have those roads crossing those watercourses, correct?
correct.
But the conduits that carry the electrical lines underneath, they're the same under either alternative, correct?
Correct.
And from a practical standpoint, do they have any more or less impact than, for example, the sewer line that runs under the northern tributary?
They do not.
And after those conduits are installed, again, will the banks of the watercourse or the tributary be restored?
Yes,
And will there be any other disturbance of that watercourse or the banks of that water facility, that water element?
no.
Does the plan show how we're going to manage stormwater basin on a conceptual level?
Yes.
And on the plan, what's shown as our stormwater basins?
So the light blue rectangles shown on the plan are the proposed stormwater management areas.
I'm going to call them purple. They don't look like blue to me.
Oh,
Things are different for different people. So, in part of preparing this plan, did you review prior plans that were submitted to the township and approved for this site?
yes,
And there's a former plan for a warehouse development on the site, correct?
correct.
And that had a stormwater design.
Yes, it's
And as part of that stormwater design, there was infiltration testing, peculiar, specific for that development, correct?
correct.
And has your team done additional infiltration testing on site?
We have.
Based on the review of the prior plan, the prior testing, and the testing you have, is stormwater management reasonably feasible at the site?
It can be, yes.
Right. And that would be designed as part of the land development process to come in the future, correct?
Correct.
And stormwater would be approved eventually pursuant to an outside agency permit referred to as an NPDS permit, correct?
Yes.
And an NPDS permit is issued by what entity?
Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection.
Is it fair to say that the township's stormwater standards are the equivalent of and no greater than the NPDS permit standards?
Restate that, please.
Sure. If you get an NPDS permit, are you going to be compliant with the township stormwater standards?
Yes.
And that's a third party outside agency permit, correct?
Correct.
All right. In one of the township's review comments, there was a comment that a proposed driveway near Data Center 7 and the wastewater treatment pump station encroached on the 100-year floodplain. Have the plans been removed to eliminate those encroachments?
Yes, they have been revised to eliminate those encroachments.
All right. I think there were also comments in the township's February review letter regarding encroachments into steep slope areas. have the plans been revised to eliminate any encroachment into the steep slope areas?
Yes,
Actually, it was it was 3 stormwater basements that theoretically encroached into the steep slopes, correct?
correct.
And the location of the basins have been revised to eliminate that encroachment?
Yes,
What zoning district is the property in?
it's a limited light industrial with DC overlay, and the Czar Road parcel is office limited industrial.
Yeah.
Sure. So the majority of the property is limited light industrial with the DC overlay. And there's a smaller piece that is office and limited industrial.
That smaller piece is the piece we spoke about before on Zara Drive, correct?
Correct.
About how many acres is the entire site?
191.
Is the site served by public water?
Yes,
And we have a letter from the water utility indicating what is potentially available at the site, correct?
correct.
And as to I can walk up. Sure. Make sure everybody. So marked as C3, a letter dated November 26, 2024 to Mr. Anthony Maris, correct?
Correct.
And he's the individual sitting on my left?
Yes,
And it's a letter of water availability confirming that there's 1.5 to 1.75 million gallons of water available at the site once fully developed, subject to the conditions contained in that letter, correct?
correct.
I know that we'll have testimony from an operator of a data center in subsequent portion of this hearing. It's your understanding that that is sufficient capacity for the proposed development, correct?
Yes, that's my understanding.
The site's served by public sewer.
Yes,
And again, we'll have a data center operator speak about data center operations, but it's your understanding that the capacity of the sewer facilities available to the site are sufficient for the sewer utilities that will be used, correct?
correct.
Does the site have direct access to our arterial road or collector streets?
Yes,
And that's a requirement under the ordinance, correct?
correct.
Which, where is the primary access to either arterial or collector streets?
Primary access is to Lake Cap Road, northern piece of the property, and to Possamon Road.
The data center ordinance has a specific provision relating to woodlands, correct?
Yes, correct.
In general terms, what does the ordinance require us to demonstrate?
It requires us to revegetate, replace like 50% to develop or the removed vegetation.
So as part of the process, did we conduct a tree survey, for lack of a better terms, to identify how many trees would be removed or disturbed as part of the development?
Yes,
And in preparing that sampling protocol, did we submit that to the township and follow their guidance or direction on how to take that sample?
yes, we did.
And then did we calculate how many trees would be disturbed using a projection?
Correct, yes. Well, we created a representative sample through surveying tree vegetation within a 75-foot diameter area to become representative of those 1 acre parcels or pieces. The mitigation would require about 14,000 caliber inches of, or will require 14,000 plantings ranging from large deciduous trees to shrubs.
On the plan, there are areas that are in green, correct?
Correct.
Are those the areas where those replacement tree plantings would be placed?
Yes.
And do our plans that were submitted show prototypical cross sections of what those planting areas would look like?
Yes.
Can you identify us where the secondary means of emergency access and ingress are?
Yes. Off of Evergreen Road on the north side of the property. There's emergency onto Saratoga Road on the southwest.
The site is within an area that is subject to FAA regulations, correct?
Correct.
You included in the application a letter from the FAA from 2024 confirming that building up to 110 feet would be permitted under FAA regulations, correct?
Correct.
We have an application pending with the FAA to update that letter, correct?
Correct.
Let's talk about some of the other dimensional standards that are required under the ordinance and shown on the plan. What's the maximum building height under the ordinance?
120 feet.
What's the tallest building that we're proposing?
85 feet.
What's the minimum required setback for the data center buildings?
It's 50 feet or the height of the building, whichever is greater.
And in every instance, are our buildings set back at least as far as their building height? So, for example, for a building that is 85 feet in height, it is set back at least 85 feet from the property, correct?
Yes.
Is there an additional setback requirement relating to proximity to residential existing uses?
Yes, there's a 400-foot linear setback from residential buildings uses.
And that 400-foot setback from existing residential uses can be reduced to 200 feet if certain noise and sound parameters are established, correct?
Correct.
So have you indicated on C2, the plan that's up on the screen, where that 400-foot buffer or that 400-foot setback is?
The 400-foot buffer area is identified in the yellow shading.
So there's 3 on the plan, correct?
Correct.
Are all the data centers more than 400 feet away from any existing residential use?
Yes.
Let me clarify that. Yeah. There are some that are within 200, correct? But they are beyond 200 feet, like on Evergreen Road, correct? Are there some there?
No, that's outside the 4.
Yeah. Where do you measure the 400 feet from?
From the closest point of the building of the existing use.
Understood. Where on the plan is it indicated with a 200-foot setback?
Inside the yellow shaded area, there's a dark dashed line that indicates the 200-foot setback.
And you're not a sound expert, we'll have a witness on sound and noise, but you've designed and the project's been designed so that the 400-foot setback has been complied, correct?
Correct.
Does the data center ordinance have a maximum floor area ratio requirement?
Yes.
I don't think it does.
No, it does not.
Is there adequate parking for the proposed use under the township's parking requirements?
Yes,
The ordinance defines something called a DCE, which is essentially a particular type of data center accessory use, correct?
correct.
And the ordinance prohibits DCE to be located between a street, and a principal building must exist between any DCE and a local street, correct?
Correct.
So how have we designed the plan so that the DCE is buffered, if you will, between the adjacent roadways? So for example, take building 8, for example.
Yes, so there's, that's where we located the logistics building.
So you've got the generator courtyard in gray, correct?
Correct.
And that would qualify as DCE, correct?
Correct.
And so you've got the actual principal building of the data center building between the DCE and Lightcap Road, correct?
Correct.
And then you've got the logistics building between the DCE and Zara Road, correct?
Correct.
And throughout the site has the site been designed so that there are principal buildings between DCE and exterior roads?
Yes.
The ordinance imposes a minimum lot or minimum acreage of 2 acres under class 1 industrial uses. You've testified that obviously the site is much greater than 2 acres, correct?
Correct.
And what's the lot width at the building line? Is it greater than 150 feet?
Yes.
The maximum impervious coverage is 70% of the net area. Approximately, what's the proposed impervious coverage?
43%.
And the building coverage is maxed at 40%. What's the approximate building coverage proposed?
20%.
Will the site comply with all of the township's lighting standards?
Yes.
Can I ask you to go to page sheet 14 of 14, which is entitled Alternate Plan? I will hand up, I brought page 6, 2 sets of page 6 and omitted this. So at our next hearing, I'll hand up this, but this would be referred to as C4. So on the screen is a document that's labeled page 14 of 14, overall proposed alternative site layout. How is this exhibit different than page 6 of 14?
The only difference is the 2 access roads were removed, and then there's a new access point to Lightcap Road for the substation.
In other words, we talked before about the prohibition against crossings of the tributaries, all but for required roadways, correct?
Correct.
And it's our position that the 2 roadways that cross those tributaries are in fact required for the project. But if the board would determine that they're not required, we've designed it so that you don't have those crossings, correct?
Correct.
That requires a couple of other changes though, correct?
Yes.
It limits the usefulness of the entrance on Zara Road, providing access to data center building 8 to just serving 1 building, correct?
Correct.
Has it affected where you propose green space in any way?
It has not. Well, it's slightly reduced at where the entrance road is.
Yeah, I'm going to say there is now a secondary entrance somewhere else, correct?
Yes.
Where's that secondary entrance?
Onto Lightcap.
Onto Lightcap Road. So the only way to access that property without the required internal roads that we proposed is to add another access point onto Lightcap Road, correct?
Correct.
And if you do that, there's a slight reduction in the green space that's there, correct?
Correct.
The sewer pump station, does that change location?
It's located where it was.
Right, that you haven't changed that location, correct?
Correct.
Is that pump station going to be visible or will it actually be subsurface?
The pump station will be more or less level with the ground. There will be a perimeter fence around for security.
So let's go back and talk a little bit about the customer substation. The customer substation is surrounded on three sides by the tributaries to Possum Hollow Run and the Possum Hollow Run itself, correct?
Correct.
And so the only way to access that area is either to cross those tributaries or again to have an additional point of ingress and egress off of Lightcap Road, correct?
Correct.
The pump station, once it's installed, will be owned by the utility company, will not be owned by the applicant, correct?
Correct.
Can I ask you to go to page 13 of 14, which is entitled Pedestrian Circulation Plan. And I'll refer to this as C5. What is C5?
C5 is a blow up of one of the typical data center buildings, identifying parking areas, the different building features, and pedestrian circulation.
There's a small green nod immediately adjacent to the purple area, correct? What's that?
That would be the 3-yard municipal waste dumpster.
And that would be for standard waste, no different really than any other office.
Correct.
To the right of that, it looks like there are two rectangles. What are they intended to demonstrate?
Those would be just tractor trailers for loading.
So there's two bays that are there, correct?
Yes.
And then on the bottom, there appears to be a series of parking spaces adjacent to each one of the data center buildings.
Correct.
And has the parking been designed in compliance with the township's parking code?
Yes.
And then above the data hall, there are an area in gray, and is that the area that we discussed before, which will be the location of the diesel generators?
Yes.
Those are the questions that I have for Mr. Magnata. Reserving the right to recall if necessary.
Ms. McKenna?
Can I take just a moment, please?
Yes, please. You want to take a break?
Yes, we will take a 5-minute comfort break. And thank you.
Thanks. I'll hand up C5.
Just hold on. Sure. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right, we can get ourselves back to our seats. Ms. McKenna, are you?
Am I on?
I
Can you
think we
hear
can
me?
hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I'm gonna start out, and I'm sorry, Mr. Mignata, is that it?
Yes.
Mignata, sorry, I'll try to make sure I get that right. So your firm, Labella, has been engaged by the applicant essentially to provide engineering and civil consulting services with regard to the project, correct?
Yes.
And who is your client?
Client is MCD7 LLC.
Okay. And did you play a role? You indicated that you played a role in preparing and reviewing the plans that were submitted with the conditional use application. Is that right?
Yes, I was the project manager.
And did you also have a role in preparing the application narrative or the application, what I'll call, and I believe the application was previously marked as Exhibit T6. The application, of course, has plans that are a part of it, and reports and studies. There's also about a 3-page document, application for conditional use hearing. Did you play a role in the preparation of that document?
Yes.
Okay, and so you had reviewed that in prior to it being submitted?
Yes.
And did you review the application prior to your testimony this evening?
Yes.
Can you tell me what else maybe you reviewed prior to your testimony this evening?
I reviewed previous plans submitted for the warehouse project.
Did you review the zoning ordinance?
Prior to the. Oh, I'm sorry. I had, yes. Yes.
So you reviewed the zoning ordinance in the past. Can you tell me maybe when you did that?
Probably September.
And did you review the zoning ordinance prior to your testimony this evening?
Yes.
Now, if we could go back, please, to C. Sorry, the C2, which is sheet 6 of 14 of the plan set. Okay, thank you. So the overall plan, does it contemplate that there are several parcels that make up the site, correct?
Correct.
And how many parcels are there, if you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
So if I look at the application.
There's 7.
Okay, would you agree that there are seven parcels, that comprise the site?
Yes,
And, is it, part of the project that those parcels will be consolidated?
yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to interrupt there because that's a legal question, right?
No, I don't think that's a legal question. I think that that's an engineering and it's certainly something that he can answer. He knows, he's the project manager. He knows if it's the intention to consolidate the lots. I would hope he would know that information.
That's fair, but there are other options that are available to the applicant in addition to merging those lots. So I don't want his answer to foreclose. I mean, suppose there was a condominium regime.
Okay, so is it your, ask the witness, is it your test, are you aware what the plan is then at this point with respect to whether there will be a condominium or consolidation of the lots?
So the expectation is that there will be.
So I'm asking the witness,
I'm
not
providing
Mr. Campbell.
That is a legal matter.
I don't think it is a legal matter. I think it's a matter of development. I think it's a matter of the project.
I only interrupted to preserve my client's rights. I don't want I don't want the witness to say something which forecloses my client's options. He testified that that it's contemplated that there would be a merger of the lots.
Okay, then that's his understanding as the site, as the project manager.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so, on, again, C2, there, I'm going to take a look at the area that shows the stream crossings. And you testified regarding, or the floodplain or stream crossings there. And you testified regarding that the area, I believe you characterized it as a driveway that crosses those areas, the stream crossing areas. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna one moment, if you can bear with me. And again, you indicated that those were internal roadways, and so it's your opinion then that those are permitted to cross the stream. Is that correct?
Well, no, I believe we were going to look as an option to either have those roadways or there's an option to not have.
Well, I'm talking first about the first option that you testified regarding. So I think you testified that it was your opinion that those were able to be potentially characterized as roadways that would be exempt. Is that right?
Yes, because they would be beneficial.
Okay. Now I'm going to read to you from the zoning ordinance the definition of driveway, and this is set forth in the Limerick Township zoning ordinance, and it defines a driveway as a private cartway providing vehicular access between a public street and a lot, property, or development. So based on that definition, would you agree with me that what you've characterized, the internal drives, that would fall into the definition of a driveway rather than a roadway?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time? Just the definition.
Sure. So the definition is a private cartway providing vehicular access between a public street and a lot, property, or development.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now you did talk about the alternative, and I think that was plan sheet, that was C4, and that's sheet 14 of 14, right? Now in that case, you're showing the relocation, and you've eliminated essentially that crossing, for the driveway area, is that right?
Yes,
Okay. Now, there's still, you had testified, and on this plan, C4, there's still, let's see if I can, let's see. Oh, I just got it. Hang on, let me try again. Ah, okay. Is it working now? Oh, I told it. Okay, there we go. I'm not real great with the tech. So there's still an area, there's the, sorry, didn't mean to hit your head there. Right here, I believe, and right here, I believe, are, what you testified, are the, duck bank crossing, is that right?
correct.
Okay, and those have not been eliminated by this alternative layout, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so, do you know if, the ordinance permits those, that location of the duck bank stream crossing, if that's permitted under the zoning ordinance?
I believe utilities are.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit and ask you to talk about, we've got 8 data center DC buildings, the orange buildings. There are 8 of those, as I understand it. And there are also this building here, and that's labeled, is that the administration building or the logistics?
That's administration.
Okay, can you tell me about what will take place in that building?
So that would be overall, like hub for operations and offices and storage.
And the size of that building is approximately 40,000 square feet, is that right?
Yes,
And so that's the admin building there. And sorry, I'm jumping back and forth. I have a paper copy of the plan and then I'm trying to look at it on the screen. So trying to, and there's parking around that building, correct?
correct.
How many parking spaces are around there? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Do you know how many employees will report to that building?
I do not know. That's would be when we get into operations.
Okay. And you did refer to that in your testimony as a principal building, correct?
Attorney Camp did, yes, principal.
Okay, and then we have another building over here that is the logistics building, and that's here. And again, that's 40,000 square feet, correct?
Correct.
And can you tell me what will be housed in that building?
So that would be kind of warehousing, storage equipment, operational support.
Will there be employees that report to that building?
Yes.
Do you know how many employees will report to that building?
I do not. That would be operational.
And I'm trying to tell by looking at my paper copy of the plan. Is there parking associated with that building?
There will be, yes.
I don't quite see it. Well, maybe I'm looking at the wrong layout. Okay. Can I ask you with your pointer to indicate where that parking will be located? I'm not seeing it on the plan, but maybe I'm missing it.
It's hard to see. I believe it's on the edge of the building on these 2 sides.
Okay, but I don't see line spaces there like I'm seeing over at the admin building. Are my eyes bad, or is that not shown there?
It might not be shown.
Okay. So the, those two buildings you had indicated, I believe, they are within the 400-foot setback from residential, is that right?
That's correct.
And how was that 400-foot, how was that actually measured?
From the corner of the closest buildings.
And did you do that with a field survey, or was that, what was used to determine that?
That was determined from the aerial photography we took for the project.
Can you show me on the plan, if possible, where those, the closest residents are that would cause that setback to come into play?
Yes, the easiest one to do an example would be these two houses here. So you can see how it kind of, it's like a cloud. So we did a 400-foot circle from the corners of each of the buildings, and then the largest extent of that 400-foot, the sum of those 400-foot circles are in the yellow area.
Okay, so how about down at the administration building, the admin building? Can you show us on the plan there where the closest residences are?
I believe they're down in here, right?
Okay,
and there's some over here and over here.
And those would be on, if you know, is that Possum Hollow Road there?
So this is Sanatoga,
Uh-huh.
then becomes Possum Hollow. So yes.
Okay. And then there's also over at the logistics building, again, so the yellow circle there, yellow semicircle there, or cloud, as you indicated, that's the 400-foot setback. Can you show us there, please, where the closest where the residences are that come into play for that?
They're along the Possum Hollow Road.
And how many are there?
I can't recall off the top of my head.
Now, you had indicated regarding parking, I believe you indicated that the site provides for sufficient parking for the proposed use. Is that right?
Correct.
Now, how has that been determined? Has a parking study been prepared at this point?
Well, the space number of spaces provided by the data center consultant.
So that's been provided by the consultant, but to your knowledge, a parking study has not yet been provided to the township. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And Mr. McNaught, have you worked on other data center projects in Pennsylvania, the state of Pennsylvania?
Yes.
And where are those?
Archibald, Pennsylvania. Archibald, Pennsylvania.
And what's the status of that project?
That's going through conditional use as well.
And when was that application submitted?
December 2025.
And have you participated in any other data center projects outside of the state of Pennsylvania?
Yes, but only on a siting level. They have not gone into planning.
So meaning there has not been formal application made, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think that's all I have.
Now's not the appropriate time to object, ma'am. Ma'am, you're not questioning a witness right now. If you have party status, you will be called procedurally. Who are you objecting to? Okay, again, ma'am, we have a procedural way this is done. The township solicitor just cross-examined. Mr. Campbell may redirect. You will have your turn. If you have party status, you will be able to question the witness, okay? Sure. What are you? I'm not sure what you're objecting to.
I guess the point of order, if that's where I say, to my knowledge, as someone with party status, no alternate plans.
Okay, you'll be able to question him on that. As someone with party status, you will have the opportunity to question the witness. Ms. McKenna just questioned, and now Mr. Campbell can redirect, and then we go through each person. Let's just bear with us. There's 27 of you. Each of you will have a chance. I promise. Yes, I promise you will get the chance, just not yet. Mr. Campbell, do you have redirect?
I would prefer to wait until
everyone's gone through?
Yep, and to the extent we have redirect.
I appreciate that, and I'm sure everybody else will. School district, Mr. Chesney, do you have any questions? Yes, please. If you can be near a microphone so that the board and everyone else in the room, and hopefully you too, or whoever's not in the room, can hear. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not.
Okay, perfect. So while they're setting up, those of you with party status and the other lawyers, this is how I'm seeing we will do it. You will go over to that table so you can set up, spread your notebook out when you ask questions. Ma'am, you as well. When you have your turn, you'll be at that table.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. McNatta. My name is Lauren Chesney. I'm an attorney with McNeese Wallace here this evening on behalf of the school district. I have a few questions, if that's okay.
Yes.
You indicated that your role in this project was a project manager. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So did you prepare this plan as the engineer or no?
Not as a certifying engineer.
Okay. Did you assist the engineer with preparing the plan?
Yes.
Okay. And I missed it during your testimony, but you had testified when you were going through the C2, the number of generators that were proposed for the site. I missed that number. Could you give that to me again, please?
36 generators.
36 generators? It's 36 per building for the 5 small, and it's 42 for the larger. And there were 3 larger buildings, correct?
Correct.
And do those, when do those generators run, or when are they proposed to run?
That would be a question for the data center.
Okay, so you don't get involved in that discussion?
No, sir.
Okay. And you testified that there were 42 chillers that are on the roof of the 5 larger buildings and 64 on the top of the 3 smaller buildings. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, I'm sorry, I have to reverse those. It's the 5 are the smaller buildings and the 3 are the larger buildings, right?
Yes.
And do you know when those chillers run?
Again, that would be for the data center itself.
Okay. And I know Ms. McKenna did ask you about the crossings of the floodplain, but I did have a couple of questions for you, and I'll try not to duplicate. But I believe your testimony was that your initial plan C2 showed the roadways as crossings because the ordinance allowed required roadways as an exception. Is that right?
No, it's not. Yes,
And so that's required roadways by who?
by the developer.
So the developer is the one that can determine whether a roadway is required?
Yes.
Is that what the ordinance says?
If you want to show him what the ordinance is, we could read the ordinance together if you're asking him.
Well, I'm just asking him based on his testimony was that there's an exception to the ordinance for required roadways. I'm asking who says whether a roadway is required?
Fair question. He also testified that the property is essentially landlocked as a result of the two tributaries and Possum Hollow Run. That portion of the property is landlocked.
No, I understand, Mr. Kim. So it's the applicant's position that the applicant himself can determine which roadways are required?
I think it's self-evident. The property is landlocked. You need to cross the water to get there.
Okay. So in satisfying the requirements of the zoning ordinance for required roadways, the applicant's the one that makes that determination.
The term roadway is not defined under the ordinance.
Okay.
It's required to develop the site.
I'm simply going by Mr. Campbell, going by his testimony. There's an exception for required roadways.
I agree with that.
Okay. And I believe, Mr. McDonough, there was you testified that the stormwater management, that you reviewed plans from a prior development. Is that right?
Correct.
That was a warehouse development?
Yes, sir.
And I may have missed it again, but did you indicate that those stormwater plans were previously approved for that development?
It was approved through the municipality. I believe it was still under review with the conservation district.
Okay, so you reviewed those plans that you thought had a previous approval.
They have a previous approval through the municipality.
Okay.
Yes.
But then I believe your testimony was that your plans for this project were revised, right?
To get out, to stay away from the steep slopes is a revision.
Okay, so the plan that you're proposing for stormwater is not the same plan that was previously approved. You revised.
Correct. They are different.
Okay.
And that was due to the building arrangements are different.
And you testified a little bit about the woodland survey or woodland requirement of the ordinance.
Yes.
And I may have this wrong, but I had noted you made reference to 14,000 plantings. Is that correct?
Correct.
And is that a certain size of a tree?
That is, well, there's a variety of different of vegetation that could be replanted and revegetated. In the application, there's a woodland mitigation plan that's provided.
Okay. And is that plan or remediation, is it trees or can it be shrubs and bushes and things like that, other greenery?
Yes, it could be a variety of shrubs and trees.
Okay, so it's not just trees.
Correct.
Okay. And those 14,000 plantings on your plan, those are in the areas that are shown in green on your plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in those limited green areas, we're going to have 14,000 additional plantings. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And just to follow up on the setbacks, am I correct that the setback, the 400-foot setback is shown in yellow?
Yes, sir.
On your plan? And I believe you testified that the setback is to be measured from the closest point of the building. Is that right?
From the corner of the building, yes.
From the corner of the residential structure or from your proposed building?
From the residential structures.
Okay. And if we look at the plan there, looking at the yellow area up on in the left, the furthest, the half circle up there at the left end of the side of your plan.
Up here, sir.
Yeah, it looks like that the yellow area is measured actually from the roadway. Is that right?
No, it's from the corner of the building. It's from this, sorry, yeah, it's not steady, but it's from the far edges of the house closest to the building.
But it appears as though the yellow area goes all the way out to the road. Is that not right?
It's just the shading goes.
Okay. So the shading goes out to the road, but you measured your setback from the closest point of the house.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Got it. And I believe you testified that there was the layout of the buildings with the DEC area. That's where the generators would be, right?
The gray area would be where the generators are.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I believe you testified that the ordinance requires those to be behind the buildings, or there must be a building between the DEC area and a roadway. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, the principal building between the roadway and the DCE area.
Okay. And at the end of are those DEC areas, is there a wall around them or soundproofing or anything around those areas other than a chain link fence?
That would be a question for the data center consultant.
So you don't know whether there's a wall or anything there?
No.
Okay. According to your plan C2, you will be able to see the DEC area from the roadways though, correct?
From which roadway?
My eyes are bad on this little plan, but for building number 1, look at building number 1. That's going to be the roadway there at the bottom where that red line is, right? Down at the bottom, roadway?
This is the existing Saratoga Road.
Right. So if you're on Saratoga Road and you look to the rear of building number 1, you can see that deck area, right?
Not sure. Yes.
Okay. But the ordinance requires that there be a building between it and the roadway. Is that right? If you want to read the ordinance form, so there's no ambiguity. Well, I'm just going by his testimony, Mr. Campbell. I don't have the ordinance in front of me. It is true. The principal building is required to be located between the DC buildings and roadways. Okay. That's correct. And it looks like we might have the same issue with building number 7, correct? Where you can see the deck area from the roadway at the top of the plan. Just so that we're clear, there's nothing in the ordinance that requires a DCE to be invisible. No, I'm not saying that, Mr. Campbell, but I believe the testimony was that there needed to be a building between the deck area and the roadway. So I'm only asking about that. If it's to be reserved for another witness, I can hold on to that question. You can hold on, but also point out the ordinance limits it to arterial and collector roads.
but we can deal with it at the next witness.
Okay. Do you know if those roads are township roads or are they state roads? Do we know that?
Sanatoga, yes. Possum Hollow is a township road, and I believe West Lake Cap is as well.
I missed what you said about Sanatoga. What'd you say about Sanatoga?
Sanatoga is a state road.
So Sanatoga is state and the other two are township?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chesney. Ms. Raffaelli? And I believe you represent MCD2 LLC and MCD9 LLC.
Correct. My name is Kevin Fogarty.
I apologize, Kevin.
No, that's okay. At the last hearing.
All right, please take Mr. Chesney's seat.
Good evening, Mr. McNaughton. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good
Okay.
evening.
Okay, are you familiar with what I'm going to call the MCD2 LLC property? Do you know where that is?
I do not.
Okay, if you look on C2, which is up on the screen, it's the sort of rectangular parcel that's to the upper left.
Right here. Sir.
Yes, sir, that's it. Thank you.
Mhm.
In doing your analysis, did you look to see what the zoning is of that property?
I did not.
Okay. The areas of yellow, were those the areas that were intended to identify setback areas under the conditional use standard?
Yes, those are the 400-foot setbacks for existing residential uses.
Right. In the conditional use standards, are you familiar with the fact that there's an alternative? There's a 400-foot setback distance, and then there's a 200-foot setback distance with subject to certain noise or sound studies. Are you familiar with that?
I'm aware of it, yes.
Okay. And are you familiar with the fact that those requirement in the alternative is based not just on current residential uses, but a residential district also? Are you familiar with that fact?
I'm not.
I'm sorry?
No.
Okay. So as you sit here tonight, are you able to tell us whether the MCD2 LLC parcel is a parcel on which residential uses are permitted?
Restate that question, please.
Sure. As you sit here tonight, are you able to tell us whether the MCD2 LLC property is a property on which residential uses are permitted?
No.
Given the language in the conditional use standards, do you believe that is an important factor to consider in deciding where to put the setback areas?
Yes.
Okay. Well, can you, and I'm not trying to be confrontational here, can you tell us why you didn't look to consider whether residential uses are permitted on the MCD2 LLC property?
So for the record, I object to the question. I understand the fact that multifamily residential uses are permitted in that district, but I don't think that qualifies it as a residential district.
Well, that's a point, I guess that'll be a point of law for later on.
Yes.
But, and I guess based on this witness's testimony, he wouldn't be the person to ask, what may be or not may be residential uses permitted on that property, correct?
I agree that I think it's a question of law, not a question of fact.
Okay, and can we also agree that this witness is not familiar enough with that portion of the conditional use standard for me to continue asking him about that?
I think it's a legal argument that I don't know that this witness or any witness would add to it.
Okay, the road that's being relocated, looking at C2 up on the screen, can you show us where that is now? And is that Possum?
So,
Go ahead.
so your Saratoga Road is going to be relocated and Possum Hollow Road will be relocated as well.
Okay, so Possum Hollow Road is the second one you just highlighted with the pointer. Does that basically go through the middle of that portion of the property?
Yes.
And that road is currently owned by the township, correct? It's a township road?
Correct.
And if that, so at this point in time, as we sit here tonight and when the application was filed, that portion of the proposed development is not owned by the property owner, correct?
There are multiple parcels that define this entire property boundary.
Well, I understand that, but my question's a different one. My question is, that portion of Possum Hollow Road that cuts through the middle portion of that piece on the right is not currently owned by the applicant, correct?
I'll stipulate that Possum Hollow Road is a township road not owned by my client.
Okay, thank you.
But we'll also put on the record that my client has made an application to vacate the roadway and that my client is either the owner and or the equitable owner of the property on either side of the street.
Well, I'm not going to stipulate that because I don't know enough about it.
I'll provide it to you.
But I do have a follow-up question for Mr. Magnotta. If that township road would not be vacated by the township, would this development be able to go forward?
I would agree. We'd stipulate to that in its current configuration, if Possum Hollow Road is not relocated, this plan doesn't work.
Okay, thank you. And that application or petition to vacate that road was filed when?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question?
I'm sorry. I should have waited. Are you okay?
Yeah. So I guess I would modify the response in that it's possible, I suppose, that the property could be developed with Possum Hollow as a divider between the utility stations and the data center.
But that would be a completely different plan?
It would be slightly different, but not radically different. It would be the same general layout.
Okay, but that's not the alternate. I heard some reference to an alternate plan. That's not the alternate plan that was referred to earlier?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Magnotta, if we could go back and look at where the MCD2 LLC property is located. Yes, thank you. You said earlier something about a fence. Is there a fence around the whole property proposed?
Yes.
And where, I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
Just a fence around where the data center campus is.
Can everybody make sure they're using their microphone? The board's having a hard time hearing, and I would imagine Paul might be as well. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. With respect to where the MCD2 LLC property is located, where would there be a fence?
So the fence would be the perimeter, pretty much this whole the southeast and southwest side.
Okay, how close would it be to the property line?
It would be the distance required by the municipal ordinance.
Okay, you know what that is as you sit here tonight?
No.
Okay, now the two buildings, just so I'm clear, what are the numbers of the two buildings that are closest to the MCD2 property?
I believe that's buildings 3 and 5.
All right, can you tell me, and I'm not limiting you to just looking at the plan that's on the screen, if there's another plan in your packet that would help you tell me this, how far is the edge of DC Building 5 from the property line with the MCD property?
So I believe this dimension here is 106 feet.
Okay. And there was discussion earlier about corners of the property, but for this measurement, it's along the entire edge of that building, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what is within that 106 feet, or what is proposed to be within there? From the wall, that side wall of the building to the property line? Is there anything proposed to be in there?
There's parking along the front of the building. There's a 30-foot wide carway, and then a green space.
Okay, maybe I wasn't clear. There, between DC Building 5 and the lot line with the MCD2 property, is there any parking?
Yes.
Okay, I see a gray area for a pathway. Is that a paved driveway? What is that?
That's a paved cartway for primary access.
Okay, and it's hard to see on some of the, it's kind of tiny on this drawing. What is the area between that cartway and DC Building 5? Is that plantings? I can't tell if it's green or not on here.
There's green along the property line, green space or plantings along the property line, and there would be a fence, and then cartway for the driveway, and then parking, and then the building edge. I'm sorry, sidewalk, and then building edge.
Okay, and are you the person to tell us what would be the noise and vibration abatement that in particular would be done to protect the MCD2 property?
I would not, that would be for the data center. So.
Okay, do you know, as the project manager, has there been an updated noise report?
I believe there has.
Do you know what the date of that is?
I do not.
The property that is the one parcel that's not zoned as all the other parcels are zoned. I've written it down as 1192 Zara, Z-A-R-A Road. Are you familiar with that parcel?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and did you tell us earlier that that parcel is intended to become part of the new Possum Hollow Road if it's relocated?
Longview Road.
I'm sorry, it's Longview Road.
Yes.
Okay, and so is the entirety of 1192 Zara Road, that parcel, is that going to become that relocated road?
The entirety of the parcel?
Yes.
No, there'll be probably a roadway, like a right of way between.
I'm sorry, there'll be a what?
A right of way for Longview Road, bisecting the property.
I'm sorry, I may have confused myself here. Longview Road, I think you told us, is going to go where, at least in part, 1192 Zara Road is located. That parcel, correct?
Yes, there's a road here.
Okay. Will the 1192 Zara Road parcel be devoted entirely to township right-of-way?
That might be for, I don't know how they're going to subdivide the lots or the property.
Well, as you sit here tonight, can you tell us whether any portion of that tax map parcel that's different zoning than the rest of the tract is going to be other than a relocated portion of a road?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. A small portion of that parcel is being used to widen roadway. It's not being part of the data center operations. It's going to stand alone on its own. Right?
Well, what is the rest of the parcel going to be used for?
What it's currently used for. Its
Which
use
is what?
hasn't changed.
I'm sorry, which is what?
I believe it's an undeveloped lot.
Okay, so that lot's really not part of this application other than for the relocation of the road. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what we're saying. That's what we've said several times.
Okay, I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fogarty. Mr. Bailson, I know you indicated your client was more observing. Do you have questions? No questions on behalf of Evergreen Development LLC. Ms. Otero, and I'm just going to read your clients for the record and their address, which we're going to ask for each party to participant from here on out. Paula, will that work for you? Ms. Otero collectively represents Residents Against Data Centers in Limerick. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And that would be Andrew Piasecki, and that's PIASECKI 3323 Sanatoga.
Yes.
Michelle Piasecki at 3345 Sanatoga Road.
Yes.
Jack Klump, and that's KLUMPP at 3290 Sanatoga Road.
Yes.
Dave Clements, 3208 Sanatoga Road.
Correct.
John Girling, that's GIRLING, 480 Longview Road.
Yes.
Jessica Schiller, SCHILLER at 25 Lozard Road.
Yes.
Terry Arthur, 74 Keene Road.
Yes.
Chrissy, and I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce your name. Jim Bowski, I will get it by the end of this. 60 Gristmill Lane.
Yes.
And Jason Beechner, BEECHNER, located at 333 Homestead Lane.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Magnotta.
Good evening.
Can you pull the
microphone
closer? Microphone, yes.
Hope this is better. All right. Mr. Magnotta, you went through your education, and you are an engineer in training, correct?
No, sir. No, ma'am.
So, even though your master says that you have an engineering background?
I do have an engineering background.
Okay. Are you licensed as an engineer?
I am not.
Have you ever been licensed?
No.
So as the project manager, you said part of your job is to have oversight of these proposals being made.
Yes, I have over 25 years experience in doing commercial industrial land development, in addition to a lot of other projects. And I oversee the team that is, and within that team, I have licensed engineers, engineers in training, and other technicians that are involved in development of the plants.
Do you have final sign off on these proposals?
On the proposal, yes. On the proposals, yes, not on the plan.
And you did mention that you've designed another hyperscale data center, correct?
Correct.
But you've not designed any that have been built.
Correct.
And just in a pragmatic matter, this facility here, it's meant to run 24/7, correct?
Correct.
I'm just going to talk about the chillers again. Your previous proposal said that the chillers there's going to be 46 chillers per building, correct?
Now, I've got 64 chillers for the 3 larger buildings and 42 chillers for the 5 smaller.
I understand, but proposals that were submitted in December and that were analyzed, they said 46 chillers per building. And just going on your previous testimony, Mr. Magnotta, you said you helped with the application submitted. So does this seem correct to you that it was initially 46 per building?
Yes.
Okay. And now, today it's increased, so 46 per building times 8, that gives us about 368 total. Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right.
Okay. And so we made the changes today, and that total will now be 402 chillers on the site, correct?
Yes,
Why the increase?
that would be for the data center consultant.
But you designed this project and you present those numbers.
Our design, we coordinated, we assisted with the application. All of the work that we perform would be more or less a foot outside the building.
So would you say that you haven't talked to the data center consultant at all?
Yes, I have been on meetings with the data center consultant.
Pretty regular meetings?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the explanation of why the increase?
I'm going to object to the question. The witness has said the data center operator will talk about those chillers.
I'll move on, that's fine. And do you know what will be used to mitigate any sound or vibration from these chillers?
I'm going to object as well beyond the scope of this witness's expertise.
Is he presented here as an expert? I thought that was clarified earlier.
He was not.
He's not, but you've drawn out the fact that he does have expertise. That aside, we will have a sound and noise expert. We'll talk about sound attenuation.
And can you speak into the microphone?
Sure, I'm sorry.
So fair to say you don't know the manufacturers of these chillers?
Correct, I do not.
And you don't know how much power they will require?
I do not.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the generators on site. Again, it was initially presented 36 generators per building. Does that sound right?
It may, yeah, I don't have the application.
Our testimony today is that it's 36 for the 5 buildings and 42 for the 3.
Yes, I'm aware. And initially it was a total of 288 generators on the site. Today that number is now increased to about 306. Does that sound about right?
It's about it.
Yes.
Okay. And can you provide any information why the increase?
Again, we're going to defer that to the operator, the witness who talks about operations.
And you can you speak to what kind of generators these are?
I cannot.
Okay. And how much fuel they may hold?
I cannot.
And can you speak at all to how the testing and maintenance of these generators?
I cannot.
And how much they, about how much they will run per year?
I cannot.
Okay. So I'm just going to ask more about the Pico substation. I understand this is separate from the lot, yeah, on the southern tip of the property. But you're aware that the substation, it would not be there but for this data center site.
I don't know if this witness is able to say that. We're proposing it, but could there be other reasons for it or other uses? It's clearly proposed as part and parcel and integrated into our site.
Okay. And the size of this substation is 230 kilovolt. Is that right?
I don't know. It's greater than that. It's coming off 500 kV line, tying into, and it steps down to 230 before it gets to this customer substation and then goes underground at 34.5.
So from the substation, there is a 230 kilovolt line that connects to the customer substation, right?
That is correct.
Okay. That's a pretty significant size line, is it not?
Yes, it's a transmission service.
Okay. Are you able to illustrate maybe how much power, how many houses that could power?
I'm not.
And it goes to the customer substation, that would be fully within MCD 7's control, that substation, right?
The customer substation, yes.
Yeah, so could you describe what the functions are in that substation, what that entails? Maybe I can clarify.
So again,
Since MDC 7 would control that substation, what are some of the things that your employees would do there?
Yeah, I mean, this witness is not going to talk about those operations. There's an operations person who will speak to what the data center people will actually do.
So just basic functions of what goes on in a customer substation, what just generalized functions in there then?
Yeah, I'm going to object. We're going to have a witness who has experience in data center operations, including substations.
The cost of building that Pico substation and the customer substation, is the developer covering that
Yes,
fully?
yes.
Has the developer presented any documentation that they will cover the capital expense for those substations?
So, as you know, Pico has their tariff system, their tariff protocol. In accordance with their protocol, my client is going to pay for these costs.
From what I know, Pico does not require these kind of infrastructure to be on the new customer's costs. In fact, it's distributed among all Pico customers. Is that correct?
It's probably going to be testimony, sounds like, from other witnesses.
Okay. Are you, Mr. Magnata, aware of the distances recommended if there is a transformer or substation fire on the site, safety distances?
I'm not.
Are you aware of like PPL? I'm sure you get a bill from them.
PPL?
PPL Electric, yes.
Yes, this is Pico.
I understand.
Oh, okay.
I understand. Bear with me. Are you aware that PPL, they recommend that if there's a transformer or substation fire, they recommend a 500-foot isolation area and 1,000-foot evacuation area. Are you aware of that?
I'm not.
Okay. Did you incorporate any such safety standards if there is a fire at the substations or transformers?
I'm going to object to the questions relating to the design of the substation. This substation is and will be designed subject to Pico's requirements.
I'm not going to, I'm sorry, can you repeat the basis for your objection?
I'm saying as a matter of record that the substation will be built in accordance with and to the standards required by Pico. You're asking this witness what those standards are or if things are designed separate. This is going to be a Pico facility. It's going to be designed to their standards.
So I'm actually more concerned. There is a large transformer off of building 1. Is that correct, Mr. Magnata? It's a small red box. Yeah. And that has the 67 megawatt transformer?
Yes.
Okay. So that transformer, that's a significant amount of power. Would you agree? $67 megawatts?
That's really not my expertise.
Okay. If so that transformer, would you say it is within 200 feet of my client Dave Clemens' property, which is right across the street?
I don't have a scale, but
Using your estimate, since it's in your 20 some odd years of experience, would you say?
yeah, no, it appears to be.
So was there any consideration given to the fire hazard that may affect my client, Mr. Clemens, if there is a fire at that transformer?
Can we back up for a second? Which facility are we talking about?
Building 1.
Yep.
And there's a small red box that is a 67 megawatt transformer that connects just to that building.
It's a transformer for 67 megawatts, but that doesn't mean it's a 67 megawatt transformer. It's a landing pad for 234.5 watts. We'll have an electrical engineer speak about that.
Then it should be marked on the proposal as such, which is for verification. If a 67 megawatt transformer is not a 67 megawatt transformer. All right, I am going to move on to the water usage of this site. Mr. Magnata, MCD7, they received a water availability letter from PA American Water, right?
Yes,
Now, this letter is a bit aged. It's from tail end of 2024, right?
correct.
And the proposed water usage for cooling was from 1.5 to 1.75 million gallons a day. Is that in the letter?
I believe that's how it's written.
Okay. Do you need a copy of it just for reference?
Yeah, Ed might, yeah.
Okay. Now, PA Water said that they could only supply domestic water, right?
I believe so, and then they had to reevaluate on the overall consumption.
Okay, and domestic water is different than just cooling water.
I'm going to defer to.
It says within the letter.
Yeah.
Would you agree then domestic water would just be water needs like from the bathroom or kitchen?
Oh, correct. Yes.
Okay. So the PA Water said that they can only supply domestic water needs in that letter, right?
That's not what the letter says. The letter says that those other water resources will be available in 2028. That's what the letter says.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So going on that, actually, a good segue is PA Water said they need to make system improvements that won't be available till 2028.
That's what the letter says.
Okay, Mr. Magnato, what does the letter say?
Says improvements currently are underway and expected to be online sometime in 2020.
What are those improvements?
I do not know. I mean, they have a list of improvements, but they don't specify exactly.
Now, those improvements include, that they put in the letter, include on-site modifications, right?
So it says off-site system
That's the first bullet point. What does it say after that?
installation pipelines to the site, upgrades of multiple booster stations, an elevated water storage tank at a suitable location, and in situ storage on your site to provide equalization, cooling, and demand in order to dampen the effect of our systems.
All right, so there's more needed on Project Laurel than what is in this proposal, right?
Could be. They don't, as I said, it says including but not limited to. But
okay. So the next issue I wanted to move on is this a closed loop system that's proposed for cooling. Now you were present at the Planning Commission on April 7th this year, right?
yes,
And how much water was proposed to be used with this closed loop?
I'm going to defer questions around the operation of the cooling systems until our data center operators here.
But Mr. Magnotta, you stated how much water was going to be used at the site with the closed loop system at the Planning Commission. Did you not?
I don't recall what the numbers.
My recollection is that we said we would be using the water available from the public water system, that we would not be drilling wells.
I'll get to
We would
that.
not be drawing from rivers.
Okay, I'll get to that. So with this closed loop system, do you have any experience with what kind of systems there are that you can put in this site?
We have a data center expert with operation experience who will walk the board through and you through multiple different types of cooling systems that are available for the system.
Okay. So Mr. Magnotta, you can't say how much water this cooling system will use.
The data center expert will do that.
Mr. Campbell, Mr. Magnotta.
The data center expert.
Thank you. So you're not aware if this cooling system will require any additives like glycol?
I am not.
And
again, that would be the data center consultant to provide all that.
And you don't know. Sorry, go ahead and finish.
I said the data center consultant will provide that testimony.
And you don't know like how often water will need to be drawn.
I do not.
and how often it will need to be flushed out of the system?
I do not.
Okay. And as far as wastewater, you have the pump on site. Could you explain what you expect to go to that pump that's off of like Cap Road?
Yes. So the pump station will only be, it'll be collecting all the existing wastewater that cuts through the property. So right now, there's a gravity line coming out of the shops, and it goes down this tributary of the Possum Hollow Run, and then there's a main line that goes down Possum Hollow Run into the wastewater treatment plant. There's also,
I'm sorry.
there's also another service line that crosses the northern side of the property to a manhole here and then goes into that general collection system. This pump station would just intercept the wastewater coming from the shops and whatever is feeding this line, and will divert it around the data center campus and then tie into the existing collection system. The pump station will not be taking any wastewater from the data center campus.
The pump station won't be taking any wastewater from the campus?
It will not, no.
So what's it doing there?
It's taking the existing infrastructure that's bisecting the property and routing it around it so that you can create a secured area as far as a fenced-in campus.
All right. So all this wastewater, where is it? Which, let's agree, wastewater mean cooling water and domestic use water. Where is that going to go?
So I object to the question. If you're talking about the waste from the pump station, that's one thing. The pump station is taking existing effluent from the commercial development and nearby residential development and keeping it in the system where it always goes. I think you're misunderstanding the purpose of the pump station.
Well, shifting gears, I'm actually going to say, okay, we've got it down. Pump station is for what's currently there. But as far as the waste that's projected for this site, that includes the cooling water and the domestic use. Where is that going?
Yeah, cooling water is not waste. Our data center operations expert will talk to you about that.
If cooling water, okay. But the cooling water, you don't know if there's going to be additives in it. And if there is, would that not be industrial waste?
So our data center operator will talk about the fluid, the material that's used in the cooling system and how it's managed and how it's, you're right that discharge is either going to be an industrial discharge or treated on site or going to be removed. But it's a whole other witness is going to talk about that.
Can you make
Yep,
sure
sorry.
you're speaking into the microphone?
So going on to what kind of water will be used in the system, in the cooling system. Well, so in CD7, they're going to have public water, right?
Yes.
Okay. And PA American Water agreed to supply this for domestic use. We already established that. So what is the what is this definition of public water then?
Are you referring to potable water?
Where's the water coming from?
The Pennsylvania American Water's distribution system,
And
where it's being sourced. I'm not.
Okay, so I cannot say for sure whether this is coming from the rivers or from groundwater or both.
I do not know.
Okay, so can you say whether this will impact the wells of my clients who live right around the proposed property site?
I cannot.
So on this proposal, particularly here and on page 14 on the alternative one, all of these buildings will require water pipes to each of them, right?
Yes.
Okay, so where are those water pipes drawn on the proposal?
So smaller scale infrastructure like that would be vetted out during the planning. This is a high level drawing of prepare for zoning and conditional use.
Can you define small scale? Because we're talking large amounts of water, possibly millions of
No,
gallons.
I'm talking about the drawing, scale of the drawing,
Yes.
not the actual water usage. But the, as far as what's required for the zoning application, is you don't drill down that deep.
So although there are some water pipes that are on the proposal, you did not include how the pipes will look going to each building.
That will be part of land development. I mean, there's no requirement under the ordinance from a zoning perspective, from a conditional use perspective, to demonstrate the on-site water or sewer system.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
But what I would like to know is how this will then be, this kind of work was not contemplated in this proposal, which I think we established. Then would you agree, Mr. Magnotta, that to do this kind of work would require some water permits from DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection?
There are third-party permits. There are third-party agency permits which will be required for this project. NPDS would be an example. That's commonly conditioned. Conditional use is commonly conditioned on third-party agency approvals.
So but Mr. Magnotta, are you familiar with the kind of permits that will be required in this type project?
Yes.
All right. So would it be like a 102 permit for construction stormwater and a 105 permit for the incursions of floodplains and wetlands?
Yes.
Okay. And those have impacts on the well water, such as of my client's wells?
The NPDS and
No, the 102 and 105 permits could have impacts on the well water of my clients.
Is your question whether or not running electrical conduits under the intermittent creek affect well water?
No, I'm talking about water pipelines that are not contemplated in this proposal.
Yep. So 102 is stormwater management, and 105 is an extreme closure. Neither of those would have impacts on well water. They're all surface water.
So you know that for sure? As part of your expertise and experience?
Well, I don't see how they're connected.
Okay. So I have just a few more questions and then I'll turn it over. On page 12, which is the EMS coordination plan, I'm not sure if that is able to be projected on the screen or not.
12 of 14.
The EMS coordination. 12 of 14. 12 of 14.
Mr. Campbell, which one is it specific that you sent?
No, it's in the larger plan set.
Okay. All right, so just to clarify, MCD7, have you received the Township Fire Marshal's approval on an EMS plan?
We have not. The Township Fire Marshal has asked for more information and we're going to supplement that.
Mr. Magnotta, did you help prepare this particular page?
Yes.
Okay. Could you explain in the upper left-hand corner what that legend is?
So the legend shows the turning radiuses for the equipment specified by the fire company.
Okay. And from what I see, there are 2 points of like ingress and egress for the EMS that you put on, right?
Well, the 3 points shown here. You have the emergency access point here, the main entrance here, and the secondary entrance here.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
It is part of the application. It's page 12 of 14 of T6. And I think I've been referring to my exhibits as C1 through C2. I think that's a throwback to when I was in the DA's office. So if we could refer to them as A1 through A6. Yeah,
Okay,
old habits.
Okay, could you explain what it is we're looking at? I see blue lines and arrows. Could you explain what that all is?
So the blue lines indicate the vehicle turning movements as they go through the property. And there were just a bunch of, the arrows show as they come in and the traffic pattern it would typically take. It would vary for whatever the emergency was, but this is kind of just give you a general idea of the flow of the emergency equipment and some of the tougher turning movements that's showing that they can pass those turning movements.
Now, would you agree that there's a lot of electricity going to this one site, right?
Yes.
Okay. And each building with its 42 diesel filled generators that diesel is flammable. Do you agree with that?
Diesel is flammable, yes.
Okay. Now, would you then agree that without really a proper EMS plan, here, hold on, take that back. If I may, just give me a minute. All right. I'm going to go back to also the customer substation. Is there a chance of a fire starting there?
I can answer the question. That'll be for an operations. So.
And you mentioned you had 3 points of ingress?
Well, 2 primary points of ingress and then 2 emergency egress points.
Okay. I'm just going to wrap it up right there, just to give people a chance to come up here.
okay, as I discussed earlier, anybody pro se, meaning you're representing yourself, will call you up one by one and you will take the seat just like where the attorneys did. And again, this is cross-examination, which is questioning. You will have your argument time at the very end of the case, but now is for questioning the witness. So with that, Ms. Shank, Kim Shank. And Ms. Shank, the court reporters just asked if you could give your address, so we have it in record.
37 Kingway, Royersford, 19468. Sorry, I turned my phone off. So the objection we have is, to my knowledge, someone with party status, no alternate plan was given at time of the application. I'd also like to note a few items. First, all items submitted as part of this alternate be given to those who have party status, and we reserve our right to recall this witness on these items until we have had a reasonable amount of time to review, and that we object to alternative being proposed. That was not part of the original application that this hearing is being conducted.
Do you have any questions for the witness?
I just would like to put that on record.
It's the stenographer's here, it's on the record, but do you have any questions? This is cross-examination.
I don't have any questions at this point. I do have one other thing. I want it noted also that we have not been given all the documents, studies, reports, plans, revised submissions.
They haven't been admitted into the record yet, meaning they're not part of the case yet. You will receive them as soon as the applicant submits them.
Okay. That
And you will
makes it really
receive
hard
them.
for us to ask proper questions without.
I understand, and it's hard for the attorneys as well. It's just the way this proceeding runs. But you will receive documents once they're admitted into the record. Mr. Campbell has already indicated he will make them all available.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Next, I would ask Kristen and Janelle Ploshay, and that's Ploshay. Okay, thank you very much. Lindsay Murtha. Okay, Miss Murtha. No questions? Okay. Mr. Jones, Michael Jones. Seeing no questions. This is moving along. Joanne Konchak, Konschak. No questions, thank you. Leah Thieson. And that is Sisson. And is it correct you're located at 200? Okay.
Sure. Mr. Magnata, is that correct?
Yes.
You testified that the number of chillers has increased from the original plan. Has the sound study been revised to reflect this increase?
Sound study's being revised.
I believe I recall that the Pannoni review letter required removal of the Zara Drive parcel from the application. Has that requirement been satisfied by designating it the road for relocation rather than a data center building?
So I would slightly disagree with your comment about what the Pannoni letter says, but what I represented at the Planning Commission and what I represented here again tonight was that the reason that the Zara Road parcel was included was solely to accommodate the realignment of Possum Hollow and Longview roads, and that there will be no data center buildings on the Zara Road parcel.
Would you be able to clarify what the Pannoni requirement was for removal?
I think you can read it.
I don't have my laptop or resources available to me, so I'm just going off.
I can't find my copy of the Pannoni letter in front of me, but my point is, regardless of what it says, there are no data center buildings proposed for that property. It's not in a zoning district which permits it. And we'll agree as a condition and we'll stipulate that there will be no data center development on the property.
Okay. I'll move on. Mr. Magnata, has a parking study been submitted?
That's not.
Okay, so the applicant's letter to Pennsylvania American Water that we received tonight represented approximately 300 employees at full build out. So you testified tonight that you don't know the employee count, and you also testified that you don't know the parking count. So can you tell the board where the 300 employee parking spaces are shown on the plan?
Well, all that will be provided by the data center consultant. There's parking along the frontage of each building.
Okay. Mr. Magnata, you also confirmed that you're serving as an engineer on the Archbald Data Center project. Are you working with the same attorney, Edmund Campbell, and the same data center consultant, and with the same data center consultant, Nuclei Data Solutions, on that project as well?
Yes. Well, Well, I'm sorry.
Mr. McNaughton's on a project in Archibald. I'm on the same project in Archibald. But I think I'm not aware of any other consultants that are on this project that are also in Archibald.
So not the nuclei data center, data solutions?
Nuclei is a consultant here. That's true.
And my last question, Mr. Magnotta, you testified to 14,000 plantings. How many mature trees are being removed from this site?
That's in the report. There's an estimate is based on the general caliper amount, total caliper amount throughout the representative area.
And would that include of the 14,000 plantings, what the average caliper height is at installation?
Average, no, some, yes.
Okay. I do not have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next would be Marilyn Lynn. I know she was here earlier. Ms. Lynn? Thank you. Stephen Bird, Mr. Bird.
My name's Stephen Bird, STEPHEN-BURD. I live at 739 Rivendell Lane, Pottstown, PA 19464. Where to start?
Please speak into the mic. Thank you.
So, to the project manager, first off, I'm a certified commercial diver. I work in a foundation trade, union foundation trade, marine construction, sheeting and shoring, all that. So I find it interesting that you don't have, like, you have the college degrees, but no certifications. As a worker in these kind of fields, you need certs out the wazoo to do anything.
Yes, and I have the staff that has those certifications and are highly qualified and have the experience for this project.
I'm not questioning their position or anything. It's one of these things, it's the little questions that, as things are said, they raise questions to me that make me wonder things. But you were talking about when you were doing reviewing of the ordinances or ordinances throughout the course of the planning of this project, and you stated yes in September. Is that of this past year was the last time that you were reviewing the township ordinances in relation with the building of this project?
No, that was the initial review project. The planning moving up to that point.
Okay, so the last time that you reviewed the ordinances was that September of this past year then?
No.
You said September. I'm just assuming it was of this past September, not the September before that.
No, I have reviewed in September, but I have also looked at it in preparation for this meeting.
Okay. Now, when you originally did the proposal for this site and all this was drawn up, you wound up presenting it, it got approved, and then there's a whole bunch of amendments and changes that happen. Like everything that I see going on, there's that give an inch, take a mile approach, right? As soon as you get your foot in the door, you run forward. So this expansion of the chilling units and everything else that seems to have an exponential increase. When you wound up changing the plans and increased the production and the demand and everything else, did you ever resubmit those for approval or for a reapproval? Because at this point, you're expanding well beyond what your original intended purpose was.
Can you restate the question? What's the question?
It's trying to understand the flow chart of all this. So you devise an idea, a drawing plan. You present it to whatever local municipality for approval. Of course, there will be things that you have to study later, but in effect, with your adding on a percentile increase, your plan to me effectively changes because now what you were originally presenting, it's not that, it's a bumped up version of it. It's a version on steroids. So at that point, are you now proposing a new level status of plan that requires a fresh set of going through the process and being okay to even then progress even further?
So I don't understand the question, so I object to it, but I would point out that what's common in any land development application and any conditional use application is iterations of plans. The plans get submitted. There are consultants which comment. Some are consultants from the municipality, some are the applicant's consultants, and the plan evolves. So the fact that there are 14 more chillers on a plan today than was submitted originally in December, respectfully, is immaterial. If those kinds of changes are just ordinary course. Okay.
The building dimensions and locations have not changed.
When I wound up going to the very first meeting, when I went up and spoke, someone was speaking that originally the buildings were only supposed to be 4 stories and then they bumped up to 8 stories.
No,
I don't know if that's true or not. That's, you hear somebody say something, I don't know how adequate the height change has changed from the beginning of this process to where we are.
I don't know what meeting you're talking about, but I can tell you that if anything, building heights have dropped. The code permits building heights of 120 feet. The buildings are now 85 feet. They're not 8 stories, they're 2 stories. The types of buildings, the stories are taller than, let's say, a traditional office building, but it's a 2-story building, it's 85. If anything, the height of the buildings have come down the last year.
When you speak on the height of the building, I understand your max permissible. I'm trying to say where as things have changed and plans get re-advised on the initial jump off phase, when all this was originally planned, what was the total footage, height of it? I don't want to get in the minutia of this thing of a story's 30 feet as opposed to general construction of stories like every 10 feet. For generally speaking, for the simple math of everything. That's why I said 4 stories to 8 stories. So basically the comment was the thing was probably about 40 feet and now it's 80 feet.
That's just not correct.
Oh, that's, I was asking to verify to make sure on that.
The original concepts were taller.
Now, when it comes down to the planning's aspect of everything, for someone pointed out all the trees you're going to be removing, you're removing old growth or established growth. And then the caveat, oh yeah, trees or shrubs. To me, that's put a pin in that. That's a warning sign. The quick edge, removing trees. So then it's trees or shrubs. Is there a stipulation of the percentage split? How much, if you're removing trees, how many trees are you actually putting in? What percentage can be applied as shrub, more of a shrubbery line? And is it technically just to hit the planting mark? Can you plant anything? Would a flower qualify as a planting for your total plantings?
There are specific protocols under the township's ordinances regarding plantings and what plantings are required, and the applicant's landscape plans comply with the township's ordinances.
Would a flower count? I'm not a lawyer. I don't have resources and people that can, you're the one that are presenting the plans. I'm trying to ask a simple question for clarification. Would a flower count as one of the total plants needed to satisfy whatever the total planting count is for this project?
It's based on a replacement of the tree caliper.
It's based off of what?
The tree caliper mount. So, and then there are selected species that are acceptable, both deciduous and coniferous.
All right, so when you're designing this plan, how much consideration goes into emergency response, design, layout, and well, I'll just leave it that one. Okay.
Well, there's the, I don't know if it's.
I'm sorry, could you rephrase the question?
When you are planning this site out, obviously you're figuring out how much size you need to house all your equipment, all that, but the aspects of emergency response and all that, the figuring out where muster points would be, total evacuation distance from the site, those kind of things, fire response. I've worked in refineries that have in-house fire departments. Would this place have something along those lines? That's kind of what I'm getting towards.
Sure. So lots of those details.
I'm asking the designer, please.
Testifying, I think that's not his role here. So,
Fair, but my
Yes, I'm hearing an objection.
objection.
Objection sustained. Mr. Campbell, can
Let me
you stop
object to the
testifying?
question. My objection to the
Yes,
question.
can object to the question.
My objection to the question is that it calls for information that would be part of a land development application in addition to what's in the conditional use. So lots of the things that the applicant,
Perhaps you can
questioner is
answer
asking.
this will be provided in land development.
Yes.
So with your designing of this, that consideration has never been applied or even thought about.
That will be, that analysis will be done during the land development process.
I'm asking about during your design, did your analysis ever take that into account with your layout and your design?
My design accounts for turning movements for the largest emergency vehicle that would be required to respond to the project.
Okay, so the only consideration is the turning radius as opposed to fire response, explosive response.
The land development plans and design are vetted with the local EMS to meet their demands and their requirements in addition to data center development standards.
When you say meet their requirements, my thought is you throw something like this in the area, and if it goes off where we don't have the requirements for that, you would have to upscale to address that kind of event. So that takes like pre-planning. There's force increase.
And Mr. Bird, is there a question or are you?
No.
That's okay. Thank you.
I'll move on. So you were the designer of the site, the buildings. Do you actually design the parts of the building, like how the building is actually going to be built, what components are in the walls, et cetera, et cetera?
I am not.
So you're a generalized like footprint layout.
Correct.
And then does another company do all the more fine detail, or inside of your own company, the finer detail is done?
Another company consultant will be doing the building architectural and interior design.
Okay. That's not very good. I'm going to ask this question now. I'm sure you're going to say you don't know. How permeable are the buildings to sound traffic? Like you're talking about, you're using the buildings as almost a barrier to sound, but a lot of these buildings almost seem like they got honeycomb walls, so air can travel in and out, probably to help with the cooling aspect of everything. So do you know if the buildings are going to be of that style design that all these, I'm putting the generators in between buildings, will they just be able to pass right through it so they're not technically sound barriers?
I do not.
Okay. All right, the one gas pipeline that is going to be on the left-hand side that you're rediverting instead of cutting through the heart of the complex.
Yes. What about? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So then it goes down, kicks over.
It's going to kick here.
Yeah, and then it kind of loops and then cuts back to the south. Now, I'm pretty sure the nuclear power plant is to like the bottom left corner. Yeah, like in that generalized area. So you're moving a thing that has an explosive factor to it closer to the nuclear plant than the probably wherever, I wouldn't say by a lot, but it's getting closer. You have a mighty fire hazard, explosive hazard that you're plunking down basically on top of it, on top of an extreme fuel line right at the footprint of a nuclear power plant.
Mr. Bird, I'm having a hard time following what your question was. Can you please try to question? Only because the board's trying to follow along too.
I know he really didn't do any deeper planning, but that one where I was asking about aspects of the fire explosion side of it. So now I'm talking about a security aspect, like almost to the point of, are you making a high valuable target because you stack so many explosive effects literally on top of each other? And then when those things go off, the fires burn, you put them out and then they kick right back up. When everything pops.
And that sounds like an excellent argument that you can make when you're closing, but we really need to focus on questioning the witness.
Was any consideration in regards to like kinetic explosives to neighboring properties with some of your rerouting and such?
Well, it's my understanding that the continuation of this pipeline is on the Constellation's property. The Energy Transfer Partners maintains this line, and we will redo the alignment of the pipeline in accordance with their standards and practices. So,
I got you. So a few years back, I don't know if anyone remembers when we kind of got that pretty gnarly flood. I don't know, 6-7 years ago, down in Philly, the Ben Franklin Expressway was flooded out. Pottstown was rigged. So I'm looking at all this, and at first I was trying to figure out where the river. Then I Googled up, saw the river was lower, and this is a little tributary. But I also know that that was the biggest water I've seen. Turned 50 this year. So I haven't seen water kick up like that before, but since I have seen it, I know the possibility is now true and existent. When we had that high water, does anyone know what this site looked like? How much this site got inundated with that flood water? What I'm leading to is, if this site was to ever take on that kind of flood again, what would be the implications of that high water reaching in all throughout this complex?
I'm going to object to questions hypothetical.
It's based off the history.
The site's going to be built consistent with DEP regs and with
And
township.
Mr. Campbell, if the witness can't answer or isn't going to answer, just say.
We're not going to answer.
Okay.
All the little purple retention ponds, or the water management. Yeah. Is that, so I'm assuming that's to collect all the water that kind of gets into the site, hits all your buildings, runs down, goes into your irrigation or your drainage systems, and then gets pumped and put into these little collection ponds. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, stormwater will be collected throughout the site, coming off of any impervious area and redirected to those basins, which then have to get, the whole site will be under an MPDS permit for rate and volume reduction.
All right, so that's all. So it's more of a pollutant, contaminate, like a containment approach.
No, because you're increasing the net impervious area on the property, so you're reducing the rate. So if this is all grass and now it's going to be impervious, you have a quicker release rate to the watershed. That's why you collect all that water, put it in the basin. You'll have a retention time, infiltration.
So you'd be, I'm sorry to interrupt, but so basically you're going to drip feed it into the system instead of letting it just hit your hard structure and surge in.
More or less, yes.
Okay. I don't do lawyer speak, so. What is, since you're going from a grass field and now you're throwing all this in and all the rainwater that would hit all your equipment, your diesel, your generators, your chillers, what would be the potential contamination to your runoff water from it all hitting these systems, washing over them, running them down, going into these collection ponds where before it just hit a grass field?
I can't answer that question. There's no way to quantify that potential.
Surface area, chemicals involved, you can get there. So you were talking about before about this underground electrical duct bank. Anybody familiar with those? Anybody familiar how explosive they are? I was next to one of the Comcast towers drilling in the surrounding clip at one of them. They told me, do not hit that. Otherwise, this whole block's going up. So there's another like crazy explosive effect that's right underneath.
Mr. Bird, can you ask questions?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The electrical duct bank running underneath your property has not been considered for the compounding danger effect, has it? By your president?
It's going to be built to standard codes.
I'm not familiar with the waterway here. Is it a deep water? Is it navigatable at all? Like, I don't know how deep it is. I don't know if it's only like an ankle deep little trickle stream or.
I don't believe it's classified as navigable.
Is it? Has there been any studies for fish spawn? The traveling of the fish ecosystem up here in regards to this area with spawning and whatnot?
No. Any fish and wildlife or aquatic permitting would be done during land building.
What year did the planning at this site officially begin? Or date, month, year?
Yeah, we do have a P&DI that's incorporated into the application that does not show impacts to potential impact to trout.
Okay. What year did the original planning for this site begin?
That I'm not aware.
Not even the year?
Well, I mean, for the project, for my involvement in this project was last year.
When you joined the project last year, what is your understanding of the existence of the project before you joining it?
I had heard that there was a potential for a warehouse project that had gone through preliminary planning, received approval, and then the site was being redesigned for data center.
So that give an inch, take a mile, start up as a warehouse, and then there's been redesigns after the initial approval?
I'm going to object. Objection, argumentative, direct witness.
Trying to clarify.
If you could rephrase it, please.
When this project began, before you're joining it a year back, was it originally started off as a strictly warehouse project, build design?
I'm going to object. You're asking this witness what happened a year before he was involved in the project? He wasn't part of the project.
Because he's still involved with the project, you have an understanding of the total when you get brought in.
Can you just allow him to answer? If he can answer it, go ahead and answer it. If you can't answer it, you don't know.
I mean, I have only basic knowledge of the previous plans. I don't know the background to them.
On that basic knowledge, was it a warehouse?
Yes, it was a warehouse.
Okay. So it was not a data center.
Correct.
Thank you. And on that initial warehouse, a design plan was given and approved. Is that correct?
My understanding, preliminary planning.
All right. So now your preliminary plan for a warehouse, easy peasy. But then a whole bunch of adjustments start to happen, and suddenly, I mean, technically an AI center is just equipment stuffed in a warehouse, is it not? I agree, but now I'm asking a technical question here.
No. Now you're diving into the ordinance and that, I believe.
No.
Vision the ordinance.
I don't understand what the question is.
The question is,
it was once approved as a warehouse. The
yes.
approval is still valid. My client's proceeding with an alternate plan, a conditional use for a data center.
Okay. So you're the head of the design department. You have a bunch of very qualified engineers and whatnot working underneath of you. What aspects of the design were you intricately involved in? Besides oversight and over, like like the engineer comes in and shows you something, yes, you're going to be saying, but what parts of the design and quality control, like all that, were you intricately involved with?
Site layout, building arrangement, dimensional standards, and oversaw production of woodland plans, EMS plans, and the alternative layout provided.
So being involved intricately in the layout.
Mr. Bird, if I could just ask how many more questions thereabout you have, because the board had a 9:30 stop, and I just want to know for planning purposes for tonight, is there some other party status?
Probably like another 5 or 6. I don't know. I could dig into him all night long.
I would like this questioner to finish his questions if that's possible. I mean, I understand the time concerns you have, but.
Right, the board was hoping to give them.
I'm more than happy to stop here. Pick it back up whenever that June, whatever meeting.
I think the board's saying we'll let you finish, Mr. Bird, and then we will end party questions for tonight and resume. You'll still have your opportunity. I know you're next in Sasek, but the next time around. So go ahead, Mr. Bird.
What was one of the main deciding factors for this to be the site, like in your site selection process? Why this in this location?
This site was provided to me prior to working on the project. The site was selected prior to me working on the project.
So whoever made the selection, are they still in your active chain of workflow, communications, etc.?
Just that was the current ownership selected the property.
Get it. That's what you. So there was at one point you were also talking about the roads going over top of the little 2 tributaries, and the lawyer, I believe, stated it was something that is required to access the site. But you have an alternate plan. So how, if something is required, How can you have an alternate plan without it? That to me says it is not required, it is preferred.
I'm going to object. It's an argument, not a question.
It's a clarification of point I'm trying to get out. Required versus preferred. There's an important distinction between the two things.
Can you please just repeat the question so the witness has a question to answer?
Earlier, you were saying that the two roads over top of the tributaries were required to access the site. But you have an alternate plan that does not have those two bridges. It has an alternate access to the landlocked site in the middle.
To keep the overall development contiguous, those crossings are required.
So they're just required to make it more easy for you guys to transport around the site.
Objection, objectionable. I mean, it's an
Yeah,
argument.
again, he answered the question. Please move on to your next question.
All right, into the 300 employees full bill. That reply, or in order to support this effort, I saw your brow crinkle, you've determined that your water needs will be based on the occupancy of approximately 300 employees at full build. Now, I understand that to be just as construction workers like me are there. At max, you'll probably have 300 workers at one time. That would be your full build moment. You will have less leading up, but at one point, there'll be about 300 employees.
Can you please ask him questions? You're testifying now.
Is that an accurate statement?
Those numbers will be clarified by the data center consultant. As far as that's an operational question.
What I'm leading into is then the second part. So with the 300 employees, you'll be needing a range of 6,000 to 7,500 gallons per day. In addition to this domestic water requirement, you indicated that an eventual cooling water demand of 1.5 to 1.75 million gallons a day will be required once the site is fully developed. So at that point, you're fully developed. That's going to be your operational, required of people in here. So the 300 in here has nothing to do with your end usage moment. So that's one of these things that can sometimes be tricky. Like the one lady that was before me that was asking about it, about thinking that there would be a 300 person facility. So from your best expertise and knowledge, this would not require 300 individuals to work it when it is, where's the line again, fully developed.
That's again a question for the data center consultant.
Fair enough. I think, yeah.
Okay, then.
Thank you, everyone.
Tonight seems like a good point to wrap up. Again, it would be a motion from the board, but if there is a motion, I would suggest that the hearing be opened and continued until June the 16th at 6:30 p.m. Here at this location. So again, since it would be a motion to continue it from tonight's hearing, it would not need to be re-advertised.
I make a motion for continuance to June 16th, 6:30.
Patrick, can you put that in the microphone again?
I make a motion to, lost the word, to make a continuance to June 16th, 6:30.
I have a motion on the floor to continue the meeting until June 16th. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. And do I have a motion? I adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Well, yes, just
Okay.
housekeeping again. Those of you with party status, again, please expect an email from the township that will have links to township's exhibits. Mr. Campbell has also indicated that he will be providing his exhibits to you. So again, and if you need to contact the township, you can. The next couple of days, well, Mr. Bird, you don't receive exhibits before they're introduced into the record. So we don't have exhibits. I don't know who Mr. Campbell will be calling again, but it's my understanding he will make this witness available for the rest of the party status individuals to question as well as the board. So what to expect the next hearing is more from this witness, additional witnesses, and we're going to proceed in the same manner that we did this evening. But again, expect an email from the township that will have exhibits that have already been marked and admitted into the record, which is township's exhibits 1 through 12. And then Mr. Campbell said he would have A1 through, I believe we went up to A4. A5. Oh, A6. Whatever was admitted into the record tonight will be available.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming out tonight.